This month we're talking about Pinot Noir, and this is a portion of the Pinot Noir vineyard that's down below our barn. As you can see, all of the buds have pushed, and it's really starting to grow here in the spring. Pinot is a little finicky to both grow and also to make. It requires a little bit of a cooler climate. It doesn't do well in really warm climates, which is why it does so well up in the Northwest, Oregon, Washington. However, here in Duluth, we're very lucky to have a little bit of a cooler climate than in Temecula Valley, and we're in the fog beginning in June right through the summer, several days a week. As you can see, the grape clusters are starting to pop out there, and so we're really excited about what our 2010 Pinot will be like. We've just bottled our 2008, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about growing, making, and also drinking Pinot Noir. Like I said, it requires a cooler climate, and our problem has to be, the biggest problem we have is the fact that because of the thin-skinned nature of Pinot, we have a real serious issue with bees, and we probably lose about 10 to 15% of our Pinot crop every year to bee damage. So this year we'll be trying some different kinds of approaches. We do net for birds, and we've certainly tried a lot of different organic approaches in putting out traps, but we'll try some other types of things this year and see if we can get that under control. Well, we're here with Tim Kramer, who is our consulting winemaker, and Tim worked with us this year on our first Pinot Noir. And I thought, since we've already seen the vineyard, we've talked a little bit about how finicky Pinot is to grow, that we talked to Tim about, from a winemaker's point of view, making Pinot Noir. So Tim, this was our first Pinot. How do you think it went?
I was really excited to work with Pinot. This is my first experience with it as well. And it was challenging, but it was also very exciting to see the results. You know, Pinot is very thin-skinned, so we have to do a couple different things in the cellar with it to combat that a little bit, to help preserve the wine as it ages. So one of the things we did was, when the grapes come in, you know, Pinot doesn't have the rich tannin structure that some of the other varietals have, you know, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, things like that. So we had to actually add some tannin at the crusher, which you know, helps preserve the wine, give it some backbone, and during fermentation, the tannins that are utilized are the ones that we added, and that preserves the grape tannins that are there, which eventually leads to wine that's softer and more approachable, but still has a nice backbone to it. Another thing we do is use less new oak when we age. We strictly French oak with the Pinot, but use less new wood to, again, help preserve some of the fruitiness of the grape and just let the grape speak for itself. And then typically with the Pinot, the aging time's a little bit shorter. With the 2008 vintage, I believe, was in there for about 15 months, 14 to 15 months. With typically a lot of our reds were in the 18 to 20 month regime. So
okay.
Doing it a little bit less time in the barrel, again, helps preserve the fruit qualities of the grape and just the overall structure.
Well, now that it's all over and it's in bottle and resting, I was curious because, we're growing it up in Duluth, which is a little bit cooler climate, and which is why we're able to even grow Pinot. Haven't had too much luck down here in the valley because it's just too hot. I'm kind of curious, from your point of view, from the flavor characteristics of our Pinot, how does that compare to the flavor characteristics of a Pinot from, let's say, the Washington, Oregon area, which is a more typically where the U.S. Pinot Noir is grown?
It seems like the Pinot down here is, and with all the varietals really, it's a little more fruit forward. You get a lot of the bright cherry characteristics, and you get the hints of, earthiness and a little bit of nuttiness and stuff that maybe in other areas are a little more dominant than the fruit characteristic.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
I look forward to releasing this wine probably sometime in June.
All right.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Well, we're here with our friend Patrick. And this month we've been profiling our new Pinot Noir, and we're going to talk to Patrick about some of the flavor and aroma characteristics of our 2008 Pinot, as well as some ideas for pairing. So, Patrick, what do you think?
Well, we've been doing this for a while now, Marlene. And I'm always excited about your wines. But I've got to tell you, this is my humdinger.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited about this wine. So you can start seeing me get all hyped and jittery. Because first of all, I know there's the whole Sideways movie and it made Pinot this off the charts, cult wine. But truly, this is one of the great wines of the world. And as I'm sure you've talked about, and we'll be talking about a lot, because this is going to be a signature wine for your program, it's difficult. It's difficult to grow. It's difficult to make. It's a persnickety wine.
Yes.
It's just high maintenance. But that's what makes it so beautiful when you actually craft a bottle of wine from this grape. It's wonderful. This does not disappoint. So, you want me to talk about the nose first?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So excited. First of all, there's the old world again, and we're always talking about this, old world, new world, and the fact that your wines kind of bridge the gap, and that the old world is always a little bit more on the earth, and the new world is more on the fruit. This, again, meets your mission. It's fruit forward, in my opinion, but there's that, when people start smelling this, and people, when you watch this video, and you check the nose on this wine, look for that little bit of Burgundian, that little bit of earthiness. It's like wet straw is what you typically say, and it's there. It's not dominant, like if you get a French Burgundy that goes bam. But it's there, but what you're getting is that bright cherry, right on the nose, raspberry, a little bit of spice. It's very pretty wine. Excited.
Terrific. Well, what does it taste like?
And of course, I've already been tasting this, so I'm not surprised. It's just like, I always look for that first impression. I always tell people when they're tasting wine, look for that first impression. Cherry, baby, cherry. Just that bright cherry. And that's, if you're doing a blind tasting, classic Pinot. And then there is that raspberry. Our winemaker, or your winemaker that works with you on this, Tim, has talked about that. It's there. There's that bright kind of cherry, berry fruit. And what I love about this wine is the tannins are soft, super soft, and the finish has that, I'm always looking for finish, and the finish is lingering on this, and that's a sign of a good wine when the finish kind of hangs, doesn't drop off.
Yeah.
There's no dropping off, and I'm getting that that sort of earthiness I look for in a Pinot, and a little bit of that very subtle tobacco, very subtle, smoky sort of thing, but the fruit's kind of transitioning into that and then out of it. It's very nice.
So what would you pair this with, other than just drinking a bottle in the afternoon? We're all about food and wine and friends, so...
And life.
And life. A good life.
This is a good life wine, let me tell you.
So what do you think you'd pair that with?
Okay. I have one of my favorite dishes, which I'm hoping you will do since you're such a good cook, Marlene.
Oh, yes.
And you're going to develop this recipe, I'm sure, is a pan-seared pork tenderloin that's finished off in the oven with sauteed onions, mushrooms, and dried cherries with some thyme. And so basically, it's simple. It brings in the mushrooms, which is the earth. It brings in the cherries, which is the fruit. It brings in that savoriness, which is that smoky sort of tobacco-y thing that's going on. A pork loin is not fatty. You don't need a lot of fat for this because the tannins are not strong on this, so you don't have to worry about coating your mouth with fat to kill the tannins like we would with a big, chewy Cabernet or something.
Yeah.
So it's just the perfect dish for this.
Terrific. I'm going to try that tonight.
Oh, you should.
And
I'm
then
going to try this too. I have a feeling.
Oh, good. And then we'll put the recipe in the newsletter for all of our readers so that they can try it at home too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So we're going to release this wine in June.
Okay.
We just bottled it last week, so it's still a little young.
Yeah, which means it's going to even get better.
Yeah. So we're very excited about it. Thanks for your time today, Patrick.
Oh, you're welcome, Marlene. And this is awesome.
Terrific. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.